guys. I'm gonna release all these videos at the same time, but I really did these videos over a span of days. Um, so David Pakman did a video talking on a span of topics that just inspired me to do this video. He was speaking in regards to the critical race theory thing and how Matt Gaetz had put them on the spot. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, as well as the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, who was Trump's pick when he was in office. They asked, Matt Gaetz asked Mark Milley about the critical race theory thing, and Mark Milley said, basically, I'm a traveled man, that I think the military should always be learning, and that he didn't really see the issue in it. And Matt Gaetz came at him about how people in the military can't say what they want to say and all this. And I know what that is. I know what all this is. What they're saying when they say, like, what was the other guy that was talking about the military is getting soft, and he did the commercial where it was the U.S. military and the Russian military. What they're in essence saying is, to be tough is to be an asshole. And that they feel like if you're not being homophobic, you're not being strong. I know people like that. That's the South. I know people like that who very much are like, look, being being a man is not being homophobic. Being a man is being an asshole to your women, being disrespectful to your women, being rough with women. I know guys like that. I know. I see out a mile away where that was going. That's I think that was that guy down there in Florida. Was it Cruz or the guy in Texas? Well, I can't remember. Cruz is in Texas. DeSantis is in Florida. He's the governor. One of the two made those statements that to him the military was getting weak. So I was surprised to see that. Surprised to see Mark Milley, speak forward and say that, we should be getting lessons on different things, understanding the world around us. I understand that Republicans get very angry when they see that, because that's, for me, the military I know is representative of the population at large and the changing times. I think they had a drag show at one of these military bases overseas. These are changing mores, social mores. And Republicans don't want to believe that. Republicans want to believe in the military of Curtis LeMoy. That's look him up. That's the military that Republicans see. They're like, these bloodthirsty, like what's that guy, Breedlove in the Air Force, guys like that. They're just bloodthirsty. Hey, let's start filling Russian body bags. Those guys. And the idea that someone in the military is like, hey, America has had a racial problem, and we should talk about it. And we should talk about black folks' history, and we should talk about how black folks have struggled in the service, and we should talk about how we got here and what we should do to go into the future. That's what he says. Look, I want to read critical race theory to you, because a lot of these videos I don't really go into detail on what the heck I'm talking about. Critical race theory is a body of legal scholarship. Legal scholarship in an academic movement of civil rights scholars and activists in the U.S. that seek to critically examine U.S. law as it intersects with issues of race in the U.S. and to challenge mainstream American liberal approaches to racial justice. CRT examines social, cultural, and legal issues primarily as it relates to race and racism in the U.S. The basic tenets are racism and disparate racial outcomes are the result of complex, changing, and often subtle social and institutional dynamics rather than explicit and intentional prejudices on the part of individuals. They also view race and white supremacy as an intersectional social construction which serves to uphold the interests of white people against those of marginalized communities at large. In the field of legal studies, CRT emphasized that merely making laws colorblind on paper may not be enough to make the application of the laws colorblind. Ostensibly, colorblind laws can be applied in racially discriminatory ways. A key concept is intersectionality, which emphasizes that race can intersect with other identities such as gender and class to produce complex combinations of power and disadvantage. I just wanted to, if you want to read any more, it was Wikipedia. You can look, you can do your research on your own. But that's not really what's going on here. When Matt Gaetz, caught them out there and made a big deal and made a scene, if you want to say, with Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin and head of Joint Chiefs Mark Milley. What this is really about is the end of an era. I'm a social guy. I'm always talking to you about the way things were 50 years ago compared to now. I am like a ruler. You measure things by me. And that measurement is the same inch it was in 1970 that it is today in 2021. That measurement has not changed any. The color of the ruler might change, but the ruler remains the same. When you're in a battle and you're losing, especially when you're being cut off from your advantages, you're getting cut off from other resources, you're getting cut off from, your avenues of travel, you're being cut off from your mission becomes tumultuous, unsteady, you have to get aggressive. And sometimes you make steps that are aggressive, that people see them as aggressive, but you do it because you have no other choice, or you feel as though you have no other choice. This stuff is not about statues, or CRT, or white rage, or any of that stuff. This is not about that. This is about, as I said before, the end of an era. And they know that once this stuff starts and the dominoes start falling, you can't stop them. That's what you see with this voter stuff going on. I mean, it's tragic to see this, to the black folks that went out there and stood in line for hours to vote, and then their votes don't count and stuff. That's tragic. But a part of me laughs inside because I know that this is like the last step. You know what I mean? This is like, you don't have any. There's nothing else in the bank. There's nothing else. This is the dirty trick here. This is the era of the dirty tricks. There's nothing else. And it's intriguing to see them do this stuff now. So, this is about them losing connection with people who historically have been allies to the fascist right, the military. And I've always gone back to Timothy McVeigh. I've always gone back to Walt Whitman. No, the dude that shooting at the University of Texas. That you have a history between violent individuals in society and the military. That you call them PTSD, whatever. These people come back and they're extreme, to say the least. There's always been a connection there. And you can say it's just indoctrination, or once you start killing, whatever. They're only seeing one side of the diplomatic stuff. They're only seeing the war side of it and not the let's sound and talk side. But historically, the military's been on their side. That's changing. But that's representative of the change in society at large. This is not the military of Curtis LeMoy. This is not the military. This is not the CIA of Allen Dulles. It's a different era. And I don't think they understand that, or don't want to acknowledge. Because a lot of things with Republicans, people out here, is that they don't want to acknowledge reality. That's the other part of it. Some of it is really like they're not being disingenuous. Some of it, they really don't get it. And, when you've had power for so long, you don't have to get it. You don't have to think about certain things when you have power. It just happens. You get on the escalator, you don't think about walking. The escalator carries you forward. I feel as though, let's go on a little bit too long, but I feel as though they're losing. And they know it. And that's where the rage and anger comes from. That goes into the other video I made about Marjorie Taylor Greene, talking about Jewish space lasers and talking about the people that are going to go out here doing vaccines are like the brown shirts and saying that Hitler wasn't a bad guy. I didn't agree with him, but he accomplished a lot. This is the Republican Party today. This is it. This is it. This is all they've got. There's nothing else there. This is all they've got. And this is what you do when you've got nothing left. Thank you for listening.